So, Simok, you know how things in China are very badly maintained, right?
There's a reason for that.
Stop, 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 stop! No, stop! Oh! So Simok, like, do you see these structures around here? They're actually called nail houses. Maybe you could explain to everybody why it's called a nail house.
Well, at first glance, I actually thought it was because there's nails everywhere, because there were literally just rusty nails everywhere. It's actually not why. They're called nail houses because they're actually shoddily made, and they're made for a profit. So they buy the cheapest concrete that has obviously the poorest, you know, qualities to it, and they build them really, really quickly. And for every floor that they add on top, they get more and more government compensation. That's how the rules work. So you see these like rebars sticking out,
yeah,
and that means they're going to put another floor on top of it, and it gets worse and worse the higher they go. It's actually more and more dangerous, right? So that's pretty much what a nail house is.
Yeah, but the reason they're called a nail house is because they stick there like an unwanted nail that you just can't get rid of. So
sure.
when they have big projects, like they want to put in a highway, see, they're all over the place here.
Yeah.
But when you want to put in a highway, you'll have these nails sticking out, standing in your way, and they're just not going to move until you pay compensation, you see. And what these guys do is, you know, per floor they get compensated, like you said, right?
Yeah.
But they'll hold out, and the government or whoever, the construction company that wants to basically build their project, they'll keep asking these guys, hey, look, we'll compensate you for your land, please, you know, sign off. And they'll be like, nope, that's not enough, give me more. And you know, some of them just will refuse to move.
It's actually resorted into, you know, a kind of small microeconomy of thugs that basically get paid to go to people's houses and say, yo, your nail house is in the way, get out.
Yeah, they actually even like beat them up, or they even demolish their houses when they go out. Like if they go out to town and they come back,
they'll knock them down.
But there are a couple of very interesting examples of nail houses that have actually not been moved, and so, like for instance, we'll find some pictures, but you've had highways built around them.
Diverted, yeah.
You know, and like whole construction projects have been built around the nail houses.
Sure.
So it's weird. You got a house in the middle of nowhere. You know, weird stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are nail houses. But you know, we are talking about nail houses, but I decided we should just talk about maintenance in general.
It sounds like a really general topic, but it's something that needs to be addressed if you're to understand China.
Yeah, I'd like you to look around us, all of you guys sitting at home or wherever you are watching this, and look at the buildings that we're passing. And I'd like you to try and see, well, if you look at this one right in front of us, for instance.
Okay.
We got a couple of houses here. They're probably not very old.
Sure.
I'd say maybe 30, 40, 50 years old. Mm-hmm. We could even go ask that dude over there and find out.
Yeah, we could actually.
Let's go ask him.
Okay.
Ask him how old this house is. Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Yeah. Let's go and find out. Let's hope he doesn't get too freaked out.
Yeah.
Just say, okay.
哎，你好。
你好。
我想问一下，这个房子是很古老很久吗？我们觉得很漂亮，这个比较久吗？这个楼？我不知道。
你觉得差不多
50年左右？
我不知道啊。
不知道。
都90跟我不知道。
好，谢谢。He doesn't want to be.
Well, he doesn't know because he doesn't care.
I think he knows.
Maybe. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You can just look at the overall state of these houses that people are still living in, and you see this has never been painted.
Yeah.
It's cracked, it's falling apart, you know, it's disgusting, everything's rusty and terrible. And then they've built on a new addition, which is just a very boring concrete shell. You see the concrete's still showing everywhere except the front where they put tiles.
Kind of looks like a countryside train station in China.
It's incredibly...
It's the cheapest tiles.
Yeah, it's just very cheaply built, and it's not maintained. It's never been painted. You know, you can see the rust marks, and it's because people just refuse to maintain their properties here. Look at this temple, for instance. Okay, Let's have a quick look at this temple. Now you'd think a temple would be something people would care about, right?
Actually, before everything, if you guys, you know, if anyone actually knows Chinese architecture and artwork,
yeah,
this looks fairly old and original, so if you can kind of give us an appraisal on how old that is, we'd like to know. But yeah, what you were saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, okay, so a temple like this, which is obviously something important to the local community. But if you walk in here, they've got moldy firework remnants from probably, I don't know,
all the snails.
Years ago. They don't clean it up. Everything's kind of just falling apart. And as you can see, although it is indeed a very nice and interesting looking place. Let's take a quick look inside. It is just horribly maintained. There is no maintenance. Look at the walls.
It's quite sad because I'm going to assume this is quite old. It still has the kind of hand-carved wooden bars in the windows.
Yes.
And I did see traditional characters, meaning it's definitely older than 70 years old.
Yes.
Which is really unique and cool.
Yeah,
you know?
Here would be all the names of the
benefactors.
Yeah, from the local community. And here's the shrine part. And you know, there's beauty here. You can see it. Look at the wood
cool.
up there. But it's just run down and disgusting, you know.
Right.
It's just such a waste because nobody likes to maintain things here in China.
Sure.
And there are a couple of reasons for this. And I think let's get back on the bikes and try to explain it to the best of our ability. What do you think?
Sounds good. I want to do kung fu here. I like this old room.
It's like mow your lawn.
That's scary in there. Mow your lawn.
Yeah, this used to be a back courtyard, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame though, because this is really cool. This is like when you come to China, the kind of stuff you want to see.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's just
this is
so
what you expect. You expect these kind of amazing kung fu temples and stuff, but
just so run down.
Yeah.
Hey, dog.
It's not a milk dog, is it?
No.
Okay.
It's a male dog.
Okay. Okay, Seamilk, so yeah, nothing is very well maintained in China, and it's not just in these rural areas.
No.
Urban areas, like big buildings, brand new construction projects.
Sure.
How about you talk about where you used to live? Maybe you can explain to everyone about that.
I actually used to live in a government property, and it was a gift from my mother and father-in-law before they got divorced. Was that I could have a free house, which was really cool. However, it's, you know, it looks kind of like a place that poor people would live if you judge the outside.
It's awful.
It's awful. It's very ugly.
It's like rust marks down the walls and everything is just
tiles falling off. It looks like almost like a slum.
Yes, yes.
But when you go inside, you realize very quickly that the people that live there are actually very wealthy. They're the government employees, right?
Yeah.
And they work for the tax department, so they're not in need of cash.
No.
And you go into these people's houses and you realize they have all of the amenities that you might, you know, find in a rich person's house. They have marble floors, they have leather sofas, they have mahogany chairs, they have flat screen TVs. They're very wealthy.
Yeah.
Because there is a big issue here in China with a kind of a lack of responsibility for shared things. And what I mean by that is, like, for example, if 20 people live in here, they won't pitch in and help each other to make the shared exterior look good. They won't keep up the maintenance because it's not theirs. You were telling me this really funny story about a building that you knew about in Shenzhen, right?
Oh, actually, I want to tell about that elevator.
Elevator, okay.
Okay, so I went to my my in-laws' place, and they live in Shaoguan, which is up at the top of Guangdong, right?
Yeah.
And it's one of the very few buildings, because they also live in a kind of an older part of the town, but it's one of the few buildings that has an elevator in it, because usually those buildings, like your old one, only has stairs, right?
That school looks like North Korea.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
So anyway, so we get in the elevator, and I noticed that the light, you know, the light in the elevator is missing, like the wires dangling.
Oh, okay.
There are wires dangling down there, and it's pitch black in the elevator.
Right.
So I asked my wife, it's like, why don't they just replace this? Because it's really quick and easy. It's going to cost like 10 RMB or 20 RMB for a new light bulb. And they were like, no, they had like a meeting, everyone in the building was like having a discussion about who's going to fix it, and nobody wanted to put in the 20 RMB to fix it. So they have left it like that for, get this, 7 years.
7 years?
7 years they've been without a light in their elevator. Just
Should
because,
we go up here?
Where? Oh yeah, to the left up there.
Yeah.
I mean the right. Yeah. Let me turn around. In fact,
7 years.
Yeah, dude, remind me. Let's come back here. I want to say something about this temple.
Oh yeah, good idea.
Yeah, when we come back. Anyway, yeah. So for 7 years, the people in that building have been going up and down in this pitch black elevator just because nobody wants to take responsibility and pay that 20 RMB.
It's a very similar situation at my place. Like I said, all the residents were rich, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of the elderly in there were having health problems from climbing all the stairs since there was no elevator.
Yeah.
The government put in like a good subsidy, and actually everyone only had to pitch in 100 RMB, which is like 20 bucks.
Yeah.
And no one was willing to do it to put in an elevator. They wanted to do it for free, even though it was only 100 RMB. Isn't that insane?
Yeah, it is ridiculous. It's so silly. Hey, let's try go down this little pathway.
Okay, let me go.
This looks pretty cool. Like now we have a very old sort of village area.
Yeah, this is old.
Whoa,
oh shit!
whoa, don't
Did you just
worry.
get milk dog?
Yeah, but luckily it was behind a gate.
Is it? Oh yeah, there
it
it
is.
is.
Don't worry. Yeah, this is very, very nice and rustic. But the problem is, like, everything is just not maintained. It's such a pity. It's all moldy and falling apart.
It's very atmospheric, but it's a shame because a lot of the stuff could be quite beautiful.
Yeah, it's atmospheric, as in a ghost town is atmospheric, like Chernobyl or something.
Right.
You know, like it looks abandoned and everything. Look at everything broken down. You can still see the dressers and stuff in there.
Right. And it's a shame. A lot of that stuff's probably really old.
Yeah.
This should be a historical site.
It should be, but it's just a run-down like village, and there's still people living here.
It's made of mud. Like clearly, this is old.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
nope. No.
Yeah.
Nobody has any desire.
Nope. No desire to maintain any of it. Yeah. Such a
Some
pity.
dogs are friendly. Some dogs are mean.
Yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't always have to do with houses, and we should probably start wrapping this up. But
Yeah.
it also comes down to vehicles.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just gonna throw out my mother-in-law here. I always talk
Okay.
shit about her.
Okay. Go for it.
She has a Ford Mondeo. Okay.
Yes.
And she never replaced the oil in it. And let me tell you, the car now has 70,000 kilometers on it, and she never once replaced the oil, and there was smoke billowing out. And I said, "Hey, mother-in-law, like, you mind if I check your oil?" And she's like, "What's that?" And so I had to take it to change the oil, and she was like upset. She's like, "Yeah, I don't want to spend the money on that. I don't think it needs that."
Really?
I put gas in it.
Yeah. Oh man. Really?
And yeah, and it has to do with like vehicles as well. And I'm thinking about a lot of the cars I see on the road.
Yeah.
Also,
Oh, yeah.
the bicycles you were talking about.
Oh yeah, man. Like you very often see someone riding past on a bicycle that is got wobbly wheels and missing spokes, and like it's rusted through and it's barely moving. And it's still got like parts of the original packaging on it, you know, like the bubble wrap or whatever that it came in is still like attached to it, even though it's an old rusting wreck.
Right.
Because people buy something, they use it until it can't be used anymore, and then just replace it. That's how China works.
That is.
It's not about being poor, because you'd think, wow, this person must be really poor to be driving this really wrecked bicycle.
Right.
But it costs almost nothing to get that kind of thing fixed in China. Like
Yeah,
literally.
labor cost is just so cheap. I like this old roof. That's really cool.
Yeah, I like this old little area. It's just a pity it's just so, like, destroyed.
Right.
Look, we've got a very old sort of communist message on the wall here.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
If you guys can read really warped. Yeah, look at that. That's old.
Yeah, Shunba something or other. Yeah, a very kind of historical
There's a
little
lot
area.
of Maoist propaganda in this village that we've seen.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute.
But yeah, that's maintenance, right?
They basically refuse to pay the 10 RMB to like get their spokes fixed, because that's how much it costs.
Right.
Or to replace a chain or oil. It's only when it breaks, then out of desperation they'll go and fix something that, you know. But that's just the mentality here. So it's not about money or anything, it's about the mentality. And people won't get over that. So that's why everything in China is poorly maintained.
Sure. And it's a conflicting thing, because you mentioned like it kind of symbolizes like a lack of pride.
Yeah, pride and
However,
workmanship,
it's a very proud culture that relies on face, and that's why people buy such expensive things.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It's a very conflicting idea.
Now, this is a temple that we visited before, and in fact, rather than go in there, because there's something very special in this temple, we're going to point you to the video that we made about this when we were doing our superstitions video, so we want you to go check it out, because there's something very special inside here.
Right.
But, look at this. Alright, here we've got this
Actual old engravings.
This original pillar or whatever has, you know, old stone engraving, and then someone's gone and screeded bathroom tiles on top.
Right.
I mean, it's a community temple, and they still use it.
All the time. We see it updated all the time
Yeah.
with stuff, couplets and all that kind of stuff.
But this, remember the first time we visited, this had not collapsed.
Nope.
Okay, but then we rode past here about a month ago and we saw it had collapsed due to the typhoon or something. So
Yeah.
this whole wall has collapsed. Here's all the rubble, and it hasn't been touched. They're just like, oh, well, whatever, just leave it that way. You know? And
It's wicked sad.
This is the problem, because it's still in use.
Right.
It obviously has an importance to this village, but nobody cares about maintaining it, so it's just lost, and it's going to all turn to dust.
We actually know a guy, his name's Mike.
Yeah.
He's about 70 years old. He's an American. He works in medicine.
Yep.
And medical equipment. He actually bought one of these here in this village and ended up leaving because it was in such bad shape.
Yeah.
And he could do nothing to the community. He actually rented it.
Yeah, he
could do
didn't buy it.
nothing to get the community to renovate it,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
though he was willing to foot the bill. So he tried to do everything himself, and it just fell apart.
Yeah, it is. It's
No one
just,
was willing to help.
yeah, it's just one of those things, and it's like I said, it's a mindset. It's not going to change anytime soon, but I think anyone who visits China will probably be wondering, why is everything so badly maintained?
Right.
And hopefully this has answered some of your questions.
And it's a shame.
It is a shame.
Because
Anyway,
I love it. I think it's cool.
Yeah,
You know
all
me.
this- I mean, I would love it too if it was maintained, and I'm going to just be brutal about this and say, you know, I recently went to Japan,
Yeah.
where you can find these old temples
Sure.
that are 800 years old, like the Kumamoto Castle or something.
Right.
And it's the same kind of thing, you know, it's very similar culture, right?
Sure,
and
sure.
You've got these old buildings, which I absolutely love because they've kept them as if they're new.
It's like a fairy tale.
Yeah, and they basically, what they do is they maintain them every year. They use the same kind of paint
Sure.
that was originally used, and you know, they make sure that it's looked after, and they are amazing and beautiful to see. But then you see this beautiful old architecture here that's just been let to rot.
Right.
Such a pity. Anyway, that's it for today. You got anything you want to say to our subscribers?
Well, hopefully you maintain, you know, your viewership here, and you
Yes.
keep that up, and we'll keep the quality up for you guys. And I also hope that you like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, and if you don't like, comment, or subscribe, unlike the maintenance ethic in China, I hope that all of you, as always, stay awesome.
When I close my eyes, I can almost sing it. When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs. And if my mind were